Welcome. What is up? Welcome to the Mixer episode 19. Just me today. So the setup is going to be a little different. You're seeing just me. That is because Jeff has a flight to catch and he's got a lot of work to do before that. So you're stuck with me. Whether or not that's an improvement or not, probably not in question because the short answer is no. But we're gonna get through this week, and Jeff will be back next week. First things first. Don't forget to like us, subscribe, and comment on videos or rate and review. We are on all podcast feeds wherever you catch podcasts. We are now on Amazon Music, which apparently is where their podcasts are hosted. I have not pulled it up there myself, but if you're somehow maybe just finding us on YouTube and Amazon is your only way, or maybe you want to test out Alexa and say, hey, Alexa, play the Mixer podcast. Give it a shot and see if Big Sim hardwires us into your living room. So, the sport's been awesome. Thank you again to all those who are listening, subscribing, and all that. We appreciate you very much. Announcement. We are an official small business now. FC Wine Mixer LLC has been registered with the state of California. So we now are somewhat legit. If we ever make any money of any sort, that should make things easier. And, at the very least, maybe we could write off some crap, right? Anywho, so that's an announcement. Jeff and I registered. So that's all done. Moving on. Let's talk about this week's tilts. First tilt. Recording setup difference. When Jeff is not here, it makes it a little tougher to record. You wouldn't think so. However, Skype has a nice record call feature, which you can then convert that video file to an MP3 really easily, and you're done. However, for some reason, if you try to record video on Windows in whatever their default program is, on my 10-year-old laptop, which I think is Windows Media Player, you cannot convert it to an MP3 very easily. You have to go through this file conversion thing. I did it once and I figured it out, but this time I tried it with some test files, could not figure it out. So for video, we're using the phone. For the audio portion, have the laptop. So the YouTube video is probably going to sound a little different if you're watching us there. But you may or may not know, this all started from me recording stuff, either heading home from work, heading home from the grocery store, or just on my lunch with Jeff in my car, using my iPhone and using a club as a kind of a camera stand. Yes, a club. My car has manual windows, that, and I still have it. I'm staying humble, still got that Civic, and best anti-theft device is the club, and it doubles as a nice iPhone stand to use on your dashboard. So pro tip, behind the scenes. Anywho, humble beginnings. That's how we got our start. And anyway, the sound quality on the iPhone didn't seem too bad then. So hopefully we'll have the same for this episode. Another tilt I'm having is I sold my Jeep. So now I am down to the Civic as my only mode of transportation. It was time. I'm not so much tilting, getting rid of the favorite vehicle that I ever owned. And if you know anything about me, I love my vehicles. It is more of the whole sale process, which actually went pretty smoothly once I found a decent buyer. However, you get those lowball offers. I mean, coming in offering like 30 to 40% less than what it's listed for. And then I had one guy say, hey, are you willing to trade? It's like, what do you want to trade, man? Like, a sack of flour ain't gonna do it. The only thing that I can think of was drugs or some sort of service, which, my mind may go into some interesting places with what kind of services are equivalent to a vehicle, a whole ass vehicle. Anywho, I said no regarding the trade, and I really wish I would have asked maybe and seen what the guy was offering just for laughs and content. However, I did not have the foresight to do so. Alas, you are robbed of the potential comedic gold that could have came from it. Maybe I can respond to him. Maybe I'll try that and report back. I'll say, actually, just out of curiosity, what are you willing to trade? And see what the response is. So maybe I'll do that and report back. So that is the tilt for all those low ball offers, dealing with people not reading the descriptions. Really annoying. I got so many messages saying, is the title clean? Is it have any problems? It's like, read the details. I specified all that, and I'm trying to hustle through it, get as much information, get as many people interested as possible. Going through the monotony of all those emails is annoying. And then I also paid about $100 to list it on eBay, and then I listed it, and I was getting some responses, but not too many. And I thought, well, might as well list it on OfferUp and Craigslist. And then the emails and the contacts just came flowing in. I think the OfferUp ad was the one that eventually secured the sale. So wasted an extra $100 on that eBay ad, but it's all done. It's all done. So future's looking bright for me and the family unit. And yeah, less of an insurance payment to make. So it's a new chapter without a Jeep, but I love that vehicle. And we'll have some fond memories. Some of my fondest trips, road trips. I took one with my brother and my dad, guy trip. I think the only guy trip really I've ever taken as an adult, at a unique time in my life when I just got the Jeep. We went to our favorite vacation spot in Mammoth and spent the whole week off-roading and fishing, and it was awesome. And I think that'll be my fondest memory of that vehicle. And I got a lot from that trip, kind of a little inner soul searching. And yeah, who knows if that trip didn't happen, things would have been much different in my life. Maybe I'm not sitting here speaking to you guys today, trying to get this side hustle on, whatever it's becoming. But anywho, little backstory, a little insight into my life. Another thing I'm tilting is RGB dying. Rest in peace. I don't know if I've ever heard of anybody really so universally appreciated. I mean, it seems like on both sides of politics. I saw Trump's clip when he was notified that she had passed away. And again, for those who don't know, it's the Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I think it's the RGB. It's RBG. Anyway, she passed away. I believe it was pancreatic cancer that she had been battling for a while. And I won't get into the specifics of it, but when Trump found out, he was, he sounded very genuinely upset and even sad, which is not maybe typical of his character. And everybody else I've heard has had a massive amount of respect for her, and it's sad that her life has come to an end. And anyway, the political ramifications, I guess, or implications, is going to put the country in even more of an interesting situation. I'm not going to get into it too much, don't worry. It's just another thing to tilt. So that's why I'm bringing it up. I have a lot of tilts today. I wish Jeff was here. I'm sorry, but I'm hoping you guys like this part. So another thing I'm tilting is my daughter, and her energy. levels and my age and my lack of energy levels. It's out of balance. It's out of balance. So Sunday, watched all the football games. Justin Herbert came in, which we're going to talk about, but I got a nice little buzz on. I had worked out earlier that morning. I'm really enjoying my morning workouts during the weekend. Seems to get the weekend off on the right foot. But anywho, I ran just over 4 miles that morning, and I think I even did a sprint session. Yeah, no, it was a boxing. I did a boxing and sprint session and some hill runs. And then on the weekend, me and my wife, we like to take the daughter to the park right across the street, the same place I do my workout. And I had a nice little buzz on, and so did she. Different type of buzz, just a straight energy buzz. And I was about maybe 5 or 6 deep after a whole afternoon and morning of football, but kept the drink in the afternoon. Anywho, and she wanted to run around. We brought the stroller. The only way she'll run around when we bring the stroller is if I push the stroller, because she likes pushing it. And anywho, so our nice little afternoon trip to the park ended up being me getting a few maybe 15 minutes of basically what essentially amounts to sled pushes in overgrown grass. By the way, Chula Vista Parks Department, you need to lower the blades on your mowers, because it's not like we're trying to slow down Tatis on the bases or something. We need that grass, that Bermuda trim just a little bit lower, so maybe there's a little resistance, and old dads like myself don't risk popping their Achilles like I'm feeling right now. So anywho, chased her around, did some flybys in the stroller, and then naturally she had wanted to go up the hill, so we had to put her in the stroller, and only way to get up the hill is to push her in the stroller up the hill. So yeah, legs are on fire a little bit. My body, I slept wrong about 3 weeks ago. Still sore, still have a stiff neck. I can't, like, that hurts and like that hurts, and meanwhile my daughter's like leaning her head all the way back and doing all this crazy stuff with her neck like an owl. So yeah, I'm turning 34 this year. Somebody very wise, knowledgeable told me that once you turn 30, it's like a switch. And I said, lies. I'll be fine. Not fine. And I don't know if there was a switch from, 33 and a half to 33 in the other half, but man, these last few weeks, my body is just not responding like it used to. And it's not been a fun ride. Invest in ibuprofen, maybe, because their stock's going to go up with the amount that I've been needing lately. That's going to do it for this week's tilts. I have more, but maybe we'll save them for next week regarding online shopping. So, first and foremost, NFL week 2. That's why we're here, right? We're primarily a football podcast. We haven't really been able to talk much football up until these last 2 weeks. So let's get into it. The main thing out of week 2 that I was focusing on was the rookie quarterbacks. Joe Burrow started the week off on Thursday night in prime time. He looked the part. He looks like an NFL quarterback. To be a quarterback in the National Football League, you have to start out on a good foot. Maybe not necessarily true. See Peyton Manning. However, it doesn't hurt. And especially at his age, which Jeff would probably say is like 43, Joe Burrow needs to be ready. He can't spend too much time in the wings prepping behind somebody like Andy Dalton, who's not on the... What team is he on? I'm not sure where Andy Dalton went. Is he a Bear? No, they have a bunch of tight ends. They don't have a bunch of quarterbacks. I'm not sure where Andy Dalton is, but I'm sure he's doing well. Anywho, Joe Burrow came in, made some tough throws, mostly dink and ducking, which is kind of encouraging to see, because at LSU, he was a guy who pushed the ball down the field. I was personally worried as a big fan of his that he was going to be a little reckless with the ball, try to do too much. However, through 2 starts, it seems like he's playing within his limits, playing within the game plan, playing within his comfort zone, and still succeeding. They haven't won yet. However, he's impressed. You know, he had that big run against the Chargers to rush for his first touchdown. The game on Thursday night, he threw for his first touchdown. I think it went to Tyler Boyd. Maybe it went to the tight end, Uzama, before he got hurt. I believe he scored. Anywho, had something like 60 dropbacks. He was pressured all night. He's been hit, I think, more than any quarterback through the first 2 games than maybe any other rookie was the stat. Maybe it was any quarterback in the history of the NFL. I don't remember the specifics. He's been hit a lot, which is hashtag not good. However, he seems composed. He hasn't got frazzled. He hasn't turned the ball over too much. I mean, I'm not going to say he hasn't thrown any interceptions. Confession, I didn't look at the exact stats. It's more of a feel. I'm not too worried about the exact stats of these young quarterbacks. It's more of how they handle the pressure, you know, if the moment looks bigger than them, and for Joe Burrow, it has not. He praised his offensive line, which is, I mean, he's clearly a better man than me, which isn't saying much. But, you know, he did say when asked what he thought of the performance of his offensive line, he said he thought they did a really good job considering the amount of dropbacks that he had. Class act, that Joe Burrow. Such a class act that after that game, not even after that game, the first half of that game, I made a promise, a pledge, a commitment, which means something to me. It means a lot to me. That I am going to support whatever team Joe Burrow is on for the remainder of his career. I have 2 or 3 items in my Cincinnati Bengals fan shop basket. I have 1 shirt on the way. I think I'm gonna wear it for next week's pod. But yeah, I do have some Ohio roots, specifically in the suburbs, the outskirts. I mean, I don't know if you call them suburbs in Ohio, at least not where I lived. But yeah, I do have some roots in Ohio. Had some family there. Still have some family there. So hi guys, if you're watching. It feels natural. You know, it's a good spot. Tiger stripes are cool. You know, unless you're Carol Baskin, which then they're really cool if you're her. Anywho, hashtag arrest her. Anywho, yeah. So I'm a Bengal fan. I'm a Bengal fan now. They're gonna be my secondary team. So deal with it, haters. I mean, probably the 2 most terrible teams to be fans of for the NFL, the Chargers and the Bengals. But you know, what can I say? What can I say? I like what I like, and mediocrity seems to find its way into my sports fandom. So let's go, Joe Burrow. Let's go, Cincinnati Bengals. Houday, right? Houday, am I doing that right? Any Bengals fans out there? Let me know. Transitioning from Joe Burrow, his counterpart, another first-round quarterback, Justin Herbert, made his surprise debut on Sunday, and it was something special. I couldn't get my CBS app to work right away, and then they feel the need to play the obligatory commercials. So when I'm trying to load up the game at 1:20, then I have to sit through 3.5 minutes of commercials. I don't know if they're commercials before the game or if it's just the ad roll that you get whenever you try to start a program on an app. Anywho, so it comes in and it cuts, and I see Herbert under center, And they're saying, oh, Justin Herbert making the start has the offense moving. I was like, what? And then I checked my phone. I got a text from my brother-in-law. He's saying Herbert's starting. What happened to Tyrod? Anywho, turns out, Tyrod. Tyrod is the way apparently it's pronounced. So let's try to stay proper here. Tyrod had some sort of chest injury. He had to go to the hospital. So kind of concerning there. He seemed really dejected on the sideline. Seemed like he really wanted to play through it. Seems like he knows his job may be at risk, which makes sense. They drafted a quarterback in the first round with pick 6, right? Tough to see a veteran not losing his job at some point to someone like that. He might be trying to play to warrant a contract for another team. However, it's looking like his playing time is short based on Justin Herbert's performance on Sunday. Herbert, that is, he found out, they're saying seconds before the snap, that he was going in, and that Herbert thought it was a joke. He thought that Anthony Lynn was joking with him when he said, hey, are you ready? You're starting today. I imagine there were bettors that were not happy. However, I don't know if that would have moved the line at all. I mean, maybe. I think the line was Chiefs plus 6 or 7. Maybe it would have, dropped to that 5 range, just because the theory is that Tyrod is kind of a slower paced offensive guy. So, anywho, maybe they just would have pulled that game off the board if they had found out like an hour beforehand. Curious how that would have played out. Regardless, Justin Herbert. Sorry, I gotta get my QB crushes right. Justin Herbert goes out there, puts down the Clearasil on the sideline next to his helmet. Yes, that's an acne joke. I'm sorry, but the guy's very, very young, very, very young. And goes out there and, from the drop, seems to just totally change the tempo of the offense. I was really not looking forward to watching this Chargers team for the rest of the season with how they looked with Tyrod in week 1 against the Bengals. Justin Herbert changed that completely within a few snaps. I've seen some game film where he handled pressure, stepped up in the pocket, evaded, was making throws on the run. He did have that one interception that ultimately cost the team the game. They were going in, they were in field goal range, could have made it a 2-score game, went for the dagger with the touchdown, and somewhat underthrew the receiver. I believe it was Keenan Allen, could have been Mike Williams. Could have put the ball up more. He definitely has an arm. It wasn't an arm strength issue, although he was on the run. He just missed the throw. And, turn the ball over to the Chiefs. The Chiefs go down the field, get a touchdown, and I think they even got the 2-point conversion after that to tie it up. So really, really costly. However, in his first game against the defending champions with Patrick Mahomes at the helm, I could not be happier with the way that he looked and the way that he handled himself. The main concern with him is maybe his leadership. It seems like he's not very vocal. However, I don't think that's something that's going to develop. I'm not sure if it's something that's necessary for a quarterback. It's definitely something you would prefer, and maybe some element of it comes. However, I think if he just can take care of his business, do his job, he's going to be just fine. And I was so thrilled with his performance that I ordered a jersey. Maybe I think it wasn't even into the second quarter. So very, very excited about Justin Herbert. After the game, Anthony Lynn has said that Tyrod will start if he's healthy. Justin Herbert is the backup for a reason. I'm not sure what that reason is. Is that reason to tank? Is that the objective? Doesn't really seem like that's Lynn's objective. I believe when he was questioned further, he said that he might try to do too much too soon. He might put the team in bad situations just because of his inexperience. I think this brings up a debate. When is the ideal time? What's the ideal plan for a quarterback, a rookie quarterback, getting his first snaps? Usually these guys come onto teams, and obviously the team is hurting. They're looking for a quarterback, so they're not very good. They're pressured to play right away. However, sometimes they might not be ready. Everybody points to Aaron Rodgers, who sat behind and learned from Favre. Jeez, that seems like so long ago. And once he became ready after a few seasons of being the backup, he took off right away. What would have his career trajectory looked like if he just started from day one? Would he have flamed out early? Would he have gotten discouraged? I don't think guys playing right at the, from the outset, I don't think it impacts their career trajectory as much as we might think. It's tough to tell. It's all hypothetical. However, I think if you have it, you're gonna work through it. And if you might have some struggles. Like Peyton Manning, his first season was terrible, right? He threw a lot of picks, lost a lot of games. I think his team went something like 4-12 or 5-11. But he got it right, and by year 2, big improvement. He goes on to be Hall of Fame quarterback, in the conversation of being one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Ryan Leaf was thrown in right away as well, and did not have success, obviously. Was terrible. I don't think it would have made much of a difference if he sat behind, who was it back then? Was it Harbaugh? Was Harbaugh the quarterback? Yes, that Jim Harbaugh? I can't remember. Wheelahan, right? I'm bringing up some names, right? Some names. I don't know if it would have been any different. It seemed like he had some personality issues, obviously, and I don't know that those would have gone away. So I don't quite understand the logic of saying these guys need to wait behind somebody, because then you're investing all this time, right? These guys have 4 with like a 5-year option, these rookie contracts, right? So if they're learning, in theory, for at least 1 season, then they come in year 2, you got to give them at least, if you commit that high draft capital, unless you have another option, which you may or may not, you're going to give them at least 1 season and then the next season. So you're looking at 3 years just thrown away, right? When you don't know if what you have is the answer. So I think the better answer is to roll them out, see how they do. If they do well, don't draft a quarterback the next year. So what? You lose some games. You lost games the year before. At least you're moving in the right direction, because quarterback is the most important piece of maybe any team in all of sports. The quarterback has such a great influence on a team's performance. You got to get the right one. So I don't see the benefit in having them benched. This season, a little different because there wasn't any preseason. I could see sitting Herbert, or even Burrow for the first 4 weeks or so, just to even get in the flow of the NFL, the National Football League season. However, keeping them on the bench to learn and mature, I don't think is the right way, because we've seen a lot of young quarterbacks have success now. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Ben Roethlisberger went to the playoffs in his first year. He was kind of the first guy, I believe the first rookie quarterback that made the playoffs. Jared Goff did pretty well his rookie season. Carson Wentz, not so much now, but at the time. So roll them out there. I feel like you got nothing to lose. At the very least, you'll know that the quarterback might not be the answer, and you may have a higher draft pick where you can take one in the next season. Waiting, I think, just pushes the ball down the road unnecessarily, when in all likelihood you'll probably have to do the same thing anyway. So the other huge takeaway from week 2, a lot of injuries, right? Saquon Barkley tore his ACL, done for the season. Christian McCaffrey injured his ankle. Raheem Mostert, I believe it was an MCL. I believe he's out for the season. Nick Bosa, knee problem as well. I believe he's done for the season. Solomon Thomas, knee, I believe, done for the season. Tyrod had his chest problem, questionable for week 3. Paris Campbell hurt his knee. Devontae Adams pulled his hamstring. Cam Akers had rib problems. Drew Lock hurt his throwing shoulder. Cortland Sutton's done for the year with a knee. And these are just the notes that I had as of yesterday. So I think there have been more injuries. I'm curious how much of this we can attribute to the short preseason. But, I think for this case, there were some marquee names that went down, and that's just the nature of the National Football League. We'll have to see in these next few weeks. It just seems like every year around this time, everybody's commenting on the number of injuries. However, I would say that maybe some of these injuries would have happened in the preseason. You never know what these guys are like coming in to the year. And, maybe they're a little heavy. Maybe their off-season training program just didn't go the right way. I would say we can attribute at least some of this to the odd COVID off-season. However, a lot of it, probably the majority of it, is just randomness, right? Randomness in the NFL and dumb injury luck. So hopefully these guys heal up and we will see them back next year. Moving on. Padres. The Drays. How are the Drays doing? They clinched a spot in the playoffs. So congrats. For the first time since 2006, our San Diego Padres are playoff bound. When I saw that stat, that was the first time since 2006, it really put things into perspective. I was just out of high school, and almost half a life ago, really. And I saw the lineup from the last playoff team. Like Ryan Klesko was on the team, Cameron Maybin, and Woody Williams was the pitcher. Woody Williams, I haven't heard that name in 84 years. So, and who can forget, they would have gone in 2007 if Matt Holliday ever touched home plate, which we're still waiting on. What a game, by the way. That game was an all-timer. And that Rockies team, they won like 14 or 15 straight to close the season or something, to supplant the Mets as the possible playoff team. And I think that was one of the first play-in games. Maybe my history's a little off, but the success of that game created the play-in game. Anywho, again, seems like a long time ago. I would love to bring that game up and watch it again. The Yankees in the AL are on a hot streak. They've kind of taken over for the Padres being the hottest team in Major League Baseball. I was going to ask Jeff if a Padres Yankees World Series rematch was on and get a little banter going, but I guess we'll have to wait for next week. Encouraging. Tatis was in a slump. He seems to be hitting a little better. So they had the day off yesterday after winning the series against the Mariners, where he was showing a little bit of pop, a little bit of pep in his step. He got the double and hugged the second baseman, Seager, right? I think he hugged Seager. Anywho, so we love to see that. Really excited for the Drays and the upcoming playoffs. The battle is about to get real in the household with the wife and the Dodgers alliance. So, hopefully we keep things civil. But stay tuned. We are battling for our daughter's fandom. But anywho, she has Padre onesies. She doesn't have Dodgers. They keep being out of stock. I am checking. But fortunately, maybe that's Big Sim trying to give me a hand, and I appreciate it. Tip my cap, Big Sim. Thank you. Keep it up. Let's get a title. Anywho, that's baseball. We'll have more. Playoffs are starting soon. Maybe this time next week? No, I think middle of next week. Anywho, we'll cover it. NBA conference finals. I'm not sure what the result of the game last night was. Lakers Nuggets. I believe the Lakers are up 2-0, and they play tonight. Lakers looking like they might take care of business early. Bronny Jr. is trying to throw a wrench into it by smoking some nugs. Very much knowing what he's doing. And as a 16-year-old, that's the last thing you want to see on a 16-year-old's Instagram story as a parent or something. I can only imagine what the fallout LeBron is having to deal with over that issue. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Just Bronny Jr. Instagram video, and I'm sure it'll be the first thing that comes up. The Heat and the Celtics. This was looking like it was going to be a good series. Last I checked, I think it was tied 2-2. I really need Jeff here for the basketball stuff. I'm sorry. Know what you don't know. This series might go the distance, so I'm wondering, Russ versus Russ, the Lakers sweep. Do either the Heat or Celtics come in hot? And however, I don't think that's a thing either. I think I'd rather be rested up. Anywho, that ends the debate. In other sports, auto racing. There was a 24-hour Le Mans over the weekend. Race in France. Usually it's in June. But COVID, so this year, August. Not much, not one to remember. However, Toyota won their third straight Le Mans after many tries. They finally got it done 3 years ago, and now they've won 3 straight. Not against the greatest competition, however, just finishing that race is a hell of an accomplishment, and it's a team I've rooted for a very long time. Congratulations to Toyota for winning the 24-hour Le Mans. We got some new cars coming next year. Competition should be stiffer. I'm looking forward to it. If you ever catch it on World Endurance Challenge or IMSA, give it a shot. It's entertaining. But yeah, that is it. Some golf happened, and Jeff's not here, so I won't talk about that. We're just gonna get out of here. That is, week 2 of the NFL. Oh, speaking of which, I almost nailed Pick'ems. I got every game right. I wish I would have been in Vegas playing some money lines. I missed the Eagles Rams. I picked the Eagles, and yeah, that didn't work out. So yeah, they're in the doghouse. I'm not gonna. Ooh, I shouldn't use the doghouse reference with the Eagles. Anywho, not gonna be picking them for a while, which means they're for sure gonna win next week. So bet them if you gamble. That's it. Time for PF Chang's. I gotta eat some lunch. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. Jeff, I'll see you next week, buddy. Deuces.